Welcome back to Wake Up America. So SpaceX is getting ready for liftoff today.
Yeah, so Starship's highly anticipated 13th test flight blasts off from Starbase in Texas. Big mission. So let's welcome in a pair of former NASA astronauts, Captain Winston Scott, along with former commander of the International Space Station and author of Dinner with an Astronaut, Leroy Chow. So Captain Scott, I want to start with you. This is a big launch because NASA is counting on Starship to be able to fulfill its Artemis missions and get our astronauts back to the moon.
Absolutely, and this is a big launch. But before we go there, if you give me just a second, Leroy, it's good to see you again. Leroy Chow and I flew missions together back in the shuttle days. Also, today is the anniversary of the launch of Apollo 11, the famous moon landing back in 1969. So a couple of tidbits that I'll throw out to you. But yeah, this is a very, very important launch. This rocket is the biggest, most powerful rocket ever built. You're talking about 18 million pounds of thrust compared to only 7.5 million pounds for the old Apollo Saturn V. It's a complex vehicle. We're talking about hot staging. They're going to deploy some satellites. They want to do the flyback for the booster with a soft landing. They want to have the rocket ship itself do a suborbital flight and do a soft landing in the Indian Ocean. So a lot of things riding on the flight, but it is an incremental developmental flight. Things may or may not go according to plan, but we've got our fingers crossed and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, Leroy, I'd love to get your take on all of this. What are you looking forward to most?
Yeah, first I'd like to say hello to Winston too. We flew together on a shuttle mission, did a spacewalk together. Great to see you. And as Winston said, this rocket is game-changing. It's the most powerful rocket ever flown. It's been designed to be fully reusable, and once it's certified, it's going to be a game changer. And of course, SpaceX is using the technology on Starship to build a human landing system for the Artemis 4 crew to set foot on the moon. Of course, they're also competing with Blue Origin, developing their own lander. Hopefully, both of these will be available for testing on Artemis 3 sooner rather than later, and it's going to open up a whole new era of exploration because Starship is going to dramatically bring down the cost of launch.
Oh.
Yeah, Winston, one of the things that always remarks that I'm amazed about with SpaceX is they don't mind learning while they're going through it, whereas NASA always aims for kind of a zero fail. There are no failures. Elon will blow some stuff up. He'll have an engine go out. And so we see these developments, and it's kind of hard for us to be able to tell what is actually a success.
Absolutely. Well, we don't think about it that way, but when we learn more from quote unquote failure than we learn from when things go well. So everything, there's a blow up, there's a malfunction or whatever, it's when we really learn and learn how to go forward. What we may or may not remember is that SpaceX reminds me of NASA back in the old days. They were not risk averse. Unfortunately, NASA over the years has become just a little bit risk averse, more so than they should be. But you got SpaceX, it's kind of like the young dog on the block, and they're anxious, they're hungry, they're aggressive, and that's what we need to have a successful space program. So I applaud SpaceX and the atmosphere under which they operate.
Yeah, Leroy, for you, what would be a successful mission? What would make this a success?
Well, all of these are flight tests, and they're all successful. You learn from each of them. As Winston is pointing out, you break things, you fix it, you fly again. This is the most expensive way to do things, but it's also the quickest way to develop a brand new system. This is how NASA used to do it when they were figuring it out back in the 60s. They can't do it anymore because of politics. If they have a failure, they analyze everything to death, because if they have a failure, a significant failure, they could very well see their program canceled. SpaceX, on the other hand, has got plenty of resources to draw on to develop this quickly. It's Elon Musk's priority to get to Mars, get humans to Mars, and SpaceX's Starship is central to that goal. And so that's why you're seeing them go ahead and test, fail, test some more. And this mission follows the number 12 flight, which was very successful. They didn't have a few engines relight, so they redesigned part of the propulsion plumbing system. And let's see if they got it right this time. But it's going to deploy 20 Version 3 Starlink satellites are going to communicate with each other via a new laser communication system, try to establish a connection with the rest of the network. A lot of exciting goals. It looks like SpaceX has figured out from Flight 12 the heat shield issues they had, and we're looking forward to hopefully a very successful flight test.
And to set expectations, they do not plan to catch either the Starship or the Heavy booster. Both will be landing in the water beforehand. So.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that NewsMax got to reunite you two this morning. Thank you both for taking the time and joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too.